Hello, my name's Kevin. It's time for another exciting edition of my YouTube channel. And the first topic tonight just popped into my head earlier today was I was reading a story about outsiders who are treated bad by the community. And the novel Carrie popped into my head by Stephen King. I guess it popped into my head because I was young back then. And the first time I read it, it kind of had an impact on me. I found it very entertaining. It was kind of like a different take on the Cinderella story. So you got this loser girl named Carrie who lives with her crazy mother. And every time Carrie does anytime she does something just a little bit wrong, the mom throws her in the prayer closet and just locks her in. And Carrie can't get out. She just has to sit in the closet. And she's a teenager, and she has this power to move things with her mind. So she's a terrible outsider at school, and stuff will happen. Like maybe a kid will say something to her, like riding by on a bicycle, and Carrie can just go like this. Suddenly, the bike will spin out of control, and the kid might hit a tree. I'm just going by my memory because it's been a while since I read it, and of course, she has no boyfriends or anything, and everyone is mean to her. And then one day, this kid named Tommy asks her to the prom, kind of like on a mercy date, right? So he's like the prince, and Carrie's the Cinderella. And what happens is some of the naughty children go and they kill a pig, and they fill a bucket with pig's blood. And they get everyone to vote for Carrie in Tommy as the king and queen of the prom. And they put the pig's blood up in the rafters. It's tied to a rope. So when Tommy and Carrie are brought up to the stage, they pull the rope. The bucket falls, and Carrie is covered in blood. And the bucket comes down and smashes Tommy on the head, kills him, boom. And then, of course, Carrie goes crazy and starts killing everybody. She kills her mother. She kills all the children. And I can't remember how she dies. I think she does a suicide kind of thing. I can't remember. It's been so long, I can't really remember how she died. I just remember being kind of entertained by the book, and because it's a Cinderella story, like except Prince Charming gets his head bashed in, and then Cinderella goes nuts and kills everybody, and it's kind of like a dark version of a Cinderella story. And that theme of alienation is very popular in literature, and this is back when I think Stephen King was kind of good. His first few novels. He's written, in the 70s and in the 80s. Some of his stuff was kind of good. I'm not too much into him these days, but back in the day he was pretty good. Anyway, that was the first thing on the agenda. The second thing was I wanted to do something called the Ukraine War for Dummies, because I think a lot of people don't know what's going on in what's happening with this Ukraine war, the true story behind it. This didn't just happen. The first rumblings of this began in 2008 when Georgia declared that it wanted to join NATO, and John McCain was all for it. And what happened was Russia said no and went into Georgia and took over part of Georgia. And it continued to fester, this relationship between American neoconservatives and progressive lefties, who are also just as violent as neoconservatives. And what happened was we got into some proxy wars. Libya could be an example, right? When we went in and killed Muammar Gaddafi and left the place a mess. And that's when you have all these refugees in Europe now. And then when we tried to get rid of al-Assad, Bashir al-Assad, and Putin came and kept them in power, and that rubbed the neocons the wrong way. So in 2014, we did a coup, and we got rid of the legally voted in president of the Ukraine, and there was a coup, and he left. What was his name? Victor. I'm trying to remember. It's slipping. I know his first name's Victor. It's something very Russian sound. Anyway, you can look it up yourself. 2014 Ukraine coup. And this was put together by a woman named Victoria Nuland, whom Donald Trump would later fire in 2018. And when Trump got into office, we had a better relationship with the Russians. And then after he left, we see what happened now. You see this war that broke out in the Ukraine, which is what it seems like we're doing is we're using the Ukrainians for another coup, for regime change. We're using Ukrainian blood to try to get Putin out of office, or have someone come in and replace Putin. And if you're into that, fine. Just don't, why kid yourself and pretend it's about democracy? But if you're anti-Putin and you want to get rid of him, then that's fine. I don't even think the Ukraine is a democracy. It's one of the most corrupt nations in the entire world. So don't kid yourself. And the last thing I'm going to talk about today is the 1,000-point drop in the Dow. What's going on there is that in order to try to deal with this inflation, they're raising interest rates, and the markets can't handle it. People forget this, but back in 2008, when there was that collapse, it got down to 6,000. The Dow was at 6,000. The only thing that stopped it from going to zero was government money being placed in there. So the markets can't handle this rise in interest rates. It's a big problem. It's going to lead to a terrible recession. And there's a rate trap. What can you do? If you raise interest rates, you collapse the market. If you have dovish monetary policy, you're going to be paying $10 a gallon for gas. You can't win. I guess, it's just one of those things. It's going to be rough. The next year, it's going to be pretty rough. Anyway, that's my video blog for today. And I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to do more than 10 minutes. And, see if anybody... I see these people who make tons of money on YouTube. And I figure, give it a try, see what happens. Anyway, I doubt if anybody would check it out. But anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye.